Do you know where Nolan's phone is? Anybody? Can
Today,
anybody tell me where Nolan's phone is?
Good
right
question.
now, as we sit here today,
Has it ever been turned over to authorities?
no, it has not. We were all told by Ben Crump from the steps of the courthouse in a public address. I think that was on July 11th, after he met with BA Angel Myers, that they were going to cooperate and give the phone over.
The one thing I did see is searching, I found out that she's been friends with Javon. They're friends with Javon on social media. In the background, you do hear in some things, it does sound like they're saying Nolan. Well, guys, guess what I found out? How do we know that's not the only Nolan that they know?
Based on what people think they're hearing, based on enhancements. I even had my own producer, who does not have a dog in this fight, no skin in the game, enhance it. But I want to hear what you guys know about the SETO call. My mind is open.
So the attorneys went on Officer Tatum's show and Nancy Grace's show. They've actually confirmed some information that I've already had and that I've told you guys when it comes to the cell phone, witnesses on Horn Island. So some of these tips that I am getting are starting to add up. Plus, there's a statement from Nolan Wells' family about the cell phone. The cell phone was the main topic when this case first started. And 30 days later, past a month, it is still the main topic of what's going on. Plus, Katie. Some interesting things I found about her. Stay tuned, Fugitive TV. Welcome to Fugitive TV. I am your host, Ray Marcel. And what we do here is we take a look at cases of missing individuals, any case of a true crime, unsolved crime. And what we do here is we give it a different look, a deeper look. I was once a fugitive on the run from the law myself. I ran for 15 years, lived in different countries under different names, then eventually turned myself in. Now I'm a motivational speaker. I have this YouTube channel and I help family members locate missing individuals and also help them locate fugitives that have done something horrific to another person. Because, hey, I know what it takes to vanish. So, you know, every day there's something new going on with Nolan Wells, all right? Every single day. And I always get ready. Okay, today I'm going to give you this topic and I'm going to bring you this case. But when I start researching for the case I'm going to give you, right in the middle of that, there's an update on Nolan Wells. It never fails, okay? This case has taken up just as much time as Nancy Guthrie's case, okay? And for you guys who's been following me, you know I did plenty of videos on her. Everybody did, actually. Well, what's going on right now is his lawyers, okay, decided to do an interview. Some important questions have been answered, like the SETO call. Everybody's talking about the SETO call. People are emailing me still about the SETO call. I still see comments of people going online, still questioning the SETO call. People are still saying, hey, the SETO call, Nolan had to be on the boat because they're screaming, hey, Nolan. And guys, I got some information, all right? And some of you people that want to believe the SETO call are probably going to be upset at what I have to say. All right, so I will not be mad at you if you want to turn the channel off now and go to another channel. But if you want to hear, all right, not a theory, but something that's fact, then this is the place to be. Well, the lawyers went on there. They talked about the SETO call. They talked about the timelines. They talked about a lot. So they went on Officer Tatum's show. And they answered a lot of questions. And we know how Officer Tatum is, a little more nice, especially when it comes to them. Well, they went on Nancy Grace's show, totally different. Nancy Grace gave them HELL. She actually asked them the tough questions that a lot of us were wondering.
Have your clients taken polygraphs?
Nancy, my clients have not taken a polygraph test. Any lawyer worth their salt is going to tell their clients not to take a polygraph test under any circumstances. Two of my clients went in and made statements with me. We're not going to make I'm not going to do a polygraph test because, one, as you know, they're not admissible in court. You should never, ever, if you're a lawyer, allow your clients to take a polygraph test. Now,
any defense attorney, whether they're convinced, truly convinced their client is innocent or guilty, they're not going to allow a poly. I've never seen that. I've had a couple of lawyers, maybe 3, in all the years I practiced, all the people I put behind bars, consent before trial to a poly.
So kudos to Nancy for doing that. And guess what? We got some answers so far that if you're watching this video, then you shouldn't be going out spreading any more lies about this case, because the reason why it takes somebody like me so long to do research on this situation, on this case, is because out of, let's say, 100 things that I find out, 95 of them will be a lie. Now I have to research all 100 of these things to make sure it's true. I've never done a case like this where it's like almost everything thrown at you is a lie. Then you have to figure out if this is true or not. It's at the point where everything that's told to me, well, let me see if I can debunk this. That's kind of how it is, because almost everything is false. Now, I will admit, when I first jumped on this case, hey, I fell for it. I thought certain things might have been real, okay? Just like how he was at the pool party, or somebody said he left on the boat and went to a party. Hey, at first, when I first started looking at this case, I think it was my first video, I was like, well, was he at the pool party? You know, then I did more research. And I'm like, there wasn't even a pool party that day. But so they talk about the phone, they talk about the timeline, they talk about witnesses. And not only that, guys, we also been wondering, does Katie really know the family or not know the family? And when I mean by the family, I mean by Nolan Wells' family, because there's some contradictions going out there. Now, Katie herself has never came out and really said anything. She's never confirmed she knows the family. She did come out on a Facebook post and make some comments, but she never confirmed if she knows the family. All right. And the reason why we're talking about this is because there's a lady who came out and did an article with Daily Mail. I'm sorry, she made a statement actually, and I think Daily Mail took that statement off her Facebook. And this lady is a deputy with Jackson County Sheriff's Office. She's actually a deputy with the same sheriff's office that's investigating the Nolan Wells death. Well, this lady says that she's family with the Nolan Wells family, and then also says Katie, that we've known for a long time, is a sweetheart and wouldn't have done nothing. But then Nolan's mom goes on to these interviews and says she doesn't know who Katie is. And it's just a bunch of things going on. Well, I'm going to tell you guys some things I found out. Now, I don't know if it proves that she's been, let's say, with the family for a long time, but there's some interesting things. So first, before we get into the interview, let's get into the Katie situation, all right? So the boys, Nolan Wells' friends, are saying that he was last seen with Katie. He was cuddling on Katie in the water, and that was last time they seen her or seen him, okay? And then after that, Nolan Wells' mom is saying that she talked to Katie and that it was a high and by situation, all right? Supposedly they just met. I don't know. 2 different contradicting stories. So we don't know exactly what's going on. Was Katie really hanging out with Nolan? They were kind of hooking up and Katie didn't want to tell his mom. I can see that. I can see that. Is Nolan mom's lying? I don't know. I mean, anything is possible. I can see anything. I can see that too. We don't know, right? We don't know. But the one thing I did see is searching, I found out that she's been friends with Javon. They're friends with Javon on social media. Javon is Nolan Wells' friend, and also Javon is a friend of the family. Christine said Javon and Javon's mom are friends of the family. Well known, Katie is associated with Javon. Not only that, Katie is also friends with, remember that deputy I told you about? They are associated. They do know each other. And not only that, Katie is also associated with one of the Wansleys. All right. Which is, I don't know exactly which Wansley it is, but she's associated with one of the Wansleys. And you know who the Wansley I'm talking about. What was his name? Elmore, the stepdad of Nolan. She's associated with one of his family members. So does she know the family, not on Christine's side, but on Elmore Wansley's side? That's what it seems like is going on. But then again, she's also friends with Javon. So somebody, now it is possible to be friends with people on social media and never met. It is possible. I will admit that. I have friends all over my social media. I've never met them. I've never talked to them. There's all kind of people I have on my social media that I don't know who they are if they walk by me. So it is possible. But when you put the statement from that deputy in the Daily Mail of what they said, that Katie has been longtime friends of the family, then it makes you go, So does that mean Katie's lying? I'm not saying that. We don't know. But that part of the story for me, once I found that out, it's always been cloudy. And that's the part of the story I'm like, something's missing. Somebody's either lying or somebody's not telling the whole truth. Now, the attorneys do answer the question with Nancy Grace about how did they get Katie's number, all right? Because some people even ask, well, how did they have the number of Katie even? Because the night Nolan went missing, they contacted Katie, and that's when Katie was like, hey, I haven't seen him. He was supposed to go with you guys.
The girl, we don't know her. He had never met her before, but yet they were texting with Katie, the girl he had been with. I'll throw that to you, Tyler. Do you know the answer to that?
Sure. So they didn't know Katie, and they believe that Nolan didn't know Katie before that day. But you have to remember, once they started getting suspicious that Nolan wasn't with them anymore, they start asking themselves, okay, well, where's Nolan? They start texting everyone that they knew. Hey, have you seen Nolan? Do you know where Nolan is? Did he make it back home? All before they called Christine Wells that night, they start asking everybody. And so eventually they end up getting, through mutual friends, whoever, Katie's number. And so and I believe it was maybe either Snapchat or text message. They got in communication with Katie. And Katie says, I don't know. We thought he was leaving with y'all. Well, I don't believe that's the case, obviously, because he did not leave with our boys. We don't know what happened to him, but that's Katie's statement.
And Officer Tatum says he has seen the text messages that shows that. Now, if Officer Tatum has seen the text messages, I'm pretty sure authorities have seen the text messages. So I don't want to hear any of this. They haven't talked to the police. They haven't talked to the investigators. It shows in the report that they have. Not only that, police also went to the judge's house that night and talked with them that same exact night. Warren called Coast Guard. So, of course, he's talking with them because he called the Coast Guard. The attorneys also confirmed that they gave up their phones, which I already know they did. They gave up their phones.
We allowed investigators from the jump to have access to their phones, their Life 360, everything. We have cooperated implicitly every step of the way.
So, which means their phones are going to show GPS locations, any messages between Katie and things like that. Now, Officer Tatum does have a great point when he said, hey, if they never knew Katie, why would they collab on something? Why would they, if they were really like, let's say the boys were trying to hide something and they didn't know Katie and Katie didn't know them, why would Katie stick up for them? Which makes sense. Why would you stick up for somebody you don't know, especially in a situation like this? They said that they got Katie's number through a friend of a friend. So I'm wondering who the friend is. Either the number, Snapchat, Facebook, whatever it is, how they were able to contact her. Which one? Now, I already told you guys earlier, I found out that her and Javon are actually connected. Okay. They are actually friends on social media. Well, I do know Warren called Javon to get Christine's number to say, hey, have you heard from Nolan? Now, some people find it funny, which I don't understand this. I guess some people don't use their brains. Some people are like, Why would Warren call Christine and ask her if she heard from Nolan when you have the phone? Guys, let's put our thinking caps on here. Let's put our thinking caps on. So you mean to tell me if you ever lost your phone, okay, and I'm pretty sure there's people that's lost their phone because I've lost mine a couple times. If you ever lost your phone, you can't call nobody because you don't have a phone? True. But you can't possibly maybe be with a friend to use their phone? You don't know your own mom's number by heart, or at least somebody's number by heart? Think about it. People go to jail every single day. They don't have their phones on them. The phones get taken away, and they still manage to call somebody collect from jail to let them know, hey, I'm arrested. And most of the times it is the mom, the dad, or the significant other, because those are the three numbers usually you do remember. So like I said, let's just use some common sense. So just because he doesn't have his phone on him doesn't mean there's no possible way for him to get a hold of somebody, because Warren did say earlier before he made the call, he was hoping that maybe Nolan was just couch surfing on somebody's couch or something like that, messed up from drinking. And maybe he called his mom. We don't know, but he decided to call just to make sure. It doesn't, some people, I don't get it, but that is one of the reasons why he, possibly could have called the mom. But we do know he got the number from Javon. So did he get Katie's information from Javon too? It makes you wonder. Now, the SETO information. I'm one of the first channels to put out the original SETO, okay? We're not talking about the doctored enhanced SETO. We're talking about the original one. Now, the original one has a music in the beginning. And it's very familiar music. You usually hear it when you're on hold with somebody. Now, I would love to play it for you, but YouTube is strict when it comes to playing copyrighted material. And I already looked it up. That song, that waiting on hold song that you hear on a lot of things is copyrighted. So unfortunately, I can't play it for you guys. But the original one has that song in the beginning, all right? Go to, I think it's Plunder Studios. Plunder actually has it. Matter of fact, if you guys want, I'm going to put it on my Facebook page, Fugitive TV. I will put the original one on my Facebook page, okay? So you guys can go check that out tonight. When I'm done with this video, I'll post that for you. So the SETO, they answer questions about the SETO. Now, when I heard the enhanced version, I was like, all right. Then I heard another enhanced version. Guys, there is multiple different versions that people have doctored, altered, anything you could think of this call, all right? And from there, I just didn't believe what anybody's call was saying. Now, for the lady who did the enhancement, I'm wondering if she's going to get sued, because she was on all kind of places. I think Nancy Grace, she did an interview with her. Now, somebody did tell me that Nancy Grace actually scrubbed her social media of the enhanced or altered SETO call. I haven't got to check it out yet, but you guys can let me know if you see that it's been erased. I am going to go look, but it's fake, guys. A lot of those calls were fake. Now, in the background, you do hear in some things, it does sound like they're saying Nolan. Well, guys, guess what I found out? How do we know that's not the only Nolan that they know? Did anybody stop to think about that? There's 20 to 25 people divided between three of these boats. Nobody never stopped to think that, okay, that's the only Nolan they know. Most of the people watching this video right now, I bet you couldn't even tell me more than 5 names who are on those boats when it's 20 or 25 people. I myself probably have about 17 names. I don't have all of them, but I got 17 names. I'm not going to tell you what all the names are, because when a new name gets thrown out there, people start attacking them. So I'm not going to do that, but I can tell you that, hey, from what I have seen, and it might come out later, Nolan's not the only person named Nolan. So if somebody did say Nolan, if they said Nolan, how do we know they're not talking to one of these other individuals? But they answered the SETO question, so that is out the way. That has been debunked officially. Now, they are also saying that there's two witnesses, okay, that seen Nolan on the beach after they left at 4:30, about 6 o'clock. So it is in line with some tips and emails that were sent to me about him being sent on the beach. Now, I've had people from Ocean Springs send me emails and tips because they're trusting me that I'm keeping them private just because everybody's getting attacked. And I have been keeping them private. So I want to say thank you guys for putting your trust in me with that. Probably because this whole time I've been unbiased. I'm not attacking anybody or anything like that. Now I have questions, but questions are different than attacking people because anybody should have questions. We all want to know what happened to Nolan, and nobody seems to know what happened. We don't know if it was an accidental drowning. We don't know if it's purpose drowning. We don't know. And we all want the same thing. We want the truth of exactly what happened. Now, personally, when I look at paper and I see the GPS coordinates of them leaving at 4:30, and then I got the tips of, hey, Nolan was still alive at 6, then to me, because I am an investigative journalist, looking at that, putting that together does show me that everybody who was on those 3 boats that left have nothing to do with it. So if they were on the boat and they left and Nolan was seen at 6, then they should have nothing to do with it. Not only that, they turned over their phones. All right. When you turn over your phones, you also turn over your GPS coordinates. So that means the investigators will see when they left the island, when they went home, just like with the boat. So they're going to see all that. They're going to see everything. So they already turned over their phone. But we know who didn't turn over their phone. This whole case blew up out of proportion. Why? There was 2 reasons. The first reason was Nolan Wells, the black guy, was the only black guy on the boat that went with his friends to Horn Island, which are 3 or 4 white guys. Then it blew up out of proportion because people are like, oh, they took Nolan Wells to this island and left him there and did whatever they wanted to do with him. And then after that, they said, oh, they took him back on the boat and then took him back out to Horn Island. The story the narrative just keeps changing. And what added to that was the whole cell phone. Oh, Warren and them have the cell phone. We had to hunt the cell phone down. We had to look on the Snapchat, the 360, and they didn't want to give us a cell phone. It took 15, 20 minutes to get the cell phone back. That is what started everything, because that even raised my eyebrow. Like, huh? They had to hunt the cell phone down. What? They had to hunt the keys down to get his car back. It's going to raise anybody's antenna. Then when I'm starting to really investigate and see like, wait, that's not true. That's not true. Warren actually told her on the phone we got the cell phone and keys. So where did this other angle come from? And the whole of the cell phone, the messages were deleted. You know, first it was Snapchat was deleted. Then it got to the press conference and Al Sharpton and Ben Crump said the phone was wiped clean. So which one is it? The phone's wiped clean or is it the Snapchats that's deleted? And we don't even know if Snapchats were deleted because we don't even know if there was any snaps to even delete. There is no proof as of right now that nobody can show that there was snaps that actually got deleted. There is no proof. Until that proof comes out, there is none. All right. And if something did get deleted, when? There's been no photo dump. There's been no cell phone dump. There's been nothing because the phone has not even been turned over yet. Now, I completely understand that the parents don't trust the investigators. All right. I can understand that because of the so-called history of Mississippi. So I can understand what that part of it. That is my unbiased in me, right? But at the same time, there's things you can do. If this was the whole piece of everything, if the cell phone has clues, and from day one on every press conference, all we hear is we want answers. We want a clear and transparent investigation.
Did Benjamin Crump reach out to you to try to communicate with you? Did Miss Christine Wells reach out to you? Or did anybody from the other side reach out to at least ask you, can you sit down and have a conversation and kind of get the timeline together? But have they reached out to you at all?
Not once. And I'm not sure if you remember this, but Judge Ashley Cole, right after this happened, she had to deactivate her Facebook account because of just the sheer hate, death threats, credible threats that were coming her way. Once she reactivated it, she made a post and she tried to explain, one, that she wasn't even in the state of Mississippi at the time this happened, and two, should Christine Wells or Ben Crump want to reach out to her or to us or anyone else, please reach out to us.
So if you want answers, there's a couple things that could have been done. Give the cell phone to the FBI. You think they're going to cover for Ocean Springs as well? Give it to the FBI. If you don't want to give it to the FBI, do your own private forensics. And I've talked about this in my last video. Do their own private forensics. Now, one person did make a comment and said, which I've been thinking about ever since, what if they did do it and the forensics came back like, hey, there was really nothing to delete, and that's why they're still holding the cell phone? I don't know, but let me bring you this right here. So there was a statement released by some new attorneys by the Nolan Wells family. Let me read to you these couple of things. So Sarah Fields, who's actually been reporting on this for a long time, since day one, she's been doing great work of trying to get information, all right? She's one of the first ones to report that they have not turned the cell phone over. So Sarah says, you cannot make this up. After my exclusive exposed that Nolan Wells' phone had never been surrendered to authorities, the family's new lawyer suddenly sends a letter saying they're ready and willing to have it examined. I was going to save this update for tomorrow, but I didn't want you all to get mad at me, and it's too funny not to talk about right now. Yesterday, I exposed that more than 30 days after Nolan Wells' death, his cell phone had still not been surrendered to law enforcement. Today, August 11th, a different law firm representing the Wells family sends this letter to the district attorney announcing that it has been retained as a local counsel and insistent that the family has been ready and willing to cooperate in arranging a joint forensic examination of Nolan Wells' phone. So she's basically saying, hey, I exposed this, that they didn't give the phone up. And then right after I expose it, all of a sudden you guys are sending out a statement saying, oh, now we're ready to look at the phone. Yeah, it's very, very odd. So here's a letter from the attorneys. August 11, 2026. Angel Myers, I believe it's pronounced McCallrath, Office of the District Attorney, 19th Circuit District. Now it says right here, Dear Miss McCallrath, please be advised that A.R. Smith Law, PLLC, has been retained to serve as local counsel for the estate and family of Nolan Wells. Moving forward, I will be working alongside the legal team at Ben Crump Law and representing our clients and addressing matters arising from Mr. Wells' death. As the legal team has stated previously, including during our in-person meeting with the Wells family and counsel, we have been and remain ready and willing to cooperate in arranging a joint forensic inspection of Nolan Wells' personal cell phone. During that meeting, we specially discussed having the examination conducted through the Digital Forensics Lab at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, as well as the possibility of FBI involvement in that process. Our position has not changed. we are prepared to coordinate a mutually agreeable date and procedure for the examination of the phone. According to the extent there has been any suggestion that we have been unwilling or have failed to cooperate with the investigation, we want to make clear that this is not the case. You don't think they've been watching people? You don't think that they've been watching people? Because after Sarah J. Fields put out that statement the other day about them not turning the cell phone, I did a video and a lot of other creators did a video. You can go on YouTube and type it in. A lot of creators, now they put out the statement. I guarantee you this is a PR move right here. You are also previously indicated that Dr. Mitchell would be provided an opportunity to review the materials necessary for him to complete his autopsy review. We remain prepared to facilitate that process. Please provide us with available dates and times for Dr. Mitchell to review those materials, along with any instructions necessary to arrange his access. We would like to move both of these matters forward promptly and remain available to coordinate with your office. Now, we're not done. We got another statement put out on the Wells side. This time it's from the Congressional Black Caucus. August 12th, today, 2026. Okay? It says, Dear Attorney General Blanche and Director Patel, more than a month has passed since the tragic disappearance and death of 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells, and his family is still without fundamental answers about what happened to their son. The Congressional Black Caucus stands with the Wells family and joins their call for a full, transparent, independent, and timely investigation into the circumstances surrounding Nolan's disappearance and death. It is unacceptable that so many questions remain unanswered as the Wells family continues to suffer what is already an unimaginable loss. Guys, this part right here, many questions remain unanswered. We keep hearing this. If questions remain unanswered, but there's people willing to give you some answers. And they're not taking opportunity to go get those answers. Warren's mom messaged Christine, what was it, the very next day or whatever? And then not only that, Warren's mom actually even put out a statement on Facebook saying, Ben Crump, any of you guys are welcome to reach out to me at any time. But then you have the attorneys for Warren and them go out and say, hey, Ben Crump has never reached out to us. Nobody on that side reached out to us. Nobody's tried to talk to us. Then at the bottom of the letter, you have this. The Wells family has been forced to grieve while also seeking basic information about what happened to their son. At the time, there has been insufficient public information from the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, which has continued to defer questions regarding the investigation to the district attorney. So the sheriff's office investigated so far everybody that's involved. Everybody's turned over their phones. Everybody's done what they're supposed to do. Okay. So far on the Wells side, they haven't turned over their phone. Okay. Now, like I said, it could be trust issues, but even if there's trust issues, I said that, hey, there's two things you could do to avoid that. FBI or get it done yourself. Now, basic information. So the sheriff's office went out, investigated, and talked to these people. You can go do the same thing. You can go talk to these people too. They're offering information for you to go out there and reach. I don't understand why you wouldn't. Now, I do understand why you wouldn't. Do I really want to tell it and put it out there? So many questions unanswered. A lot of us still have questions of what's going on. I'm glad the attorneys actually went on these shows today and actually gave us some answers and verified some information that I already have. Now I feel confident in that information that I have because they were able to verify it. And you guys can see that I try and go on facts, with the information that I get. And what they said today actually, I guess shows that, hey, I'm going in the right direction of trying to get facts for this case and not just speculation, and point this out to you and what a lot of other people are doing. We all still want answers. When it comes to the SETO call, I told you guys from the start, hey, a lot of this stuff is they're enhancing it. These calls would not be used in court. If you guys have ever been to court before and evidence has been tampered with, it has to be thrown out. They can't use it. So anytime you have audio recording, if you try and go in there and enhance any sort of way, if your defense attorney is good, they're going to get that thrown out. So you might as well not even touch it and let it be as the original. Not only that, a lot of those enhanced calls are not even the same time length of the original call. The original call is like 9 minutes and something seconds. A lot of those enhanced ones are like 8 minutes to 7 minutes. So what happened to the other minute and 20 seconds? What are they doing with that? So something's going on with these enhanced calls to where some editing is being happening. And speaking of enhanced calls, a viewer sent me an email, told me to go check something out. Now I mentioned this in my video last time, and I said that there's a trick that was done when this call was put out. And not only was the enhanced call put out, but also caption to go with the enhanced call. So while you're listening to it, you're reading the caption. And while you're reading that caption, now your brain is thinking, okay, this is exactly what I'm hearing. Okay. But it is a trick to that. There's a reason why they do that. A viewer sent me a video to watch. Okay. I believe it was called Green Needle. The green needle and brainstorm trick. I think that was what it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. I can't remember, but I did watch that earlier today. And pretty much that video was saying exactly what I said. The guy is basically playing an audio. And in the audio, you know, it sounds like it's saying green needle, or it could be saying brainstorm. Green needle, brainstorm. Yes, they sound differently. But when the audios are muffled, and somebody's convincing you it says one, you're going to think it says one. Somebody convinces you it says this, you're going to see it says this. And then he goes on to bring up, if you look into the sky and you see clouds, you might think you see a face in the cloud. And then another person says, I see the same face. It's because of how your brain reacts. Your brain wants to try and picture something that it's familiar to, you know, to you or the brain. So it all makes sense. But as soon as I saw the caption on that audio, I knew it. Now, the girls who did the enhanced audio, they do have a go send me whatever it is, and people are donating to it. Crazy. Yeah, I know. And it's funny because they're probably going to need that money because they might get sued, and they're probably going to need that money for an attorney now. Hey, good luck with that one. But please let me know what you think about today's story of Nolan Wells, or I should say the update, because there's an update on this for the last 3 weeks almost. So let me know what you think about this. Stay tuned for the next video. The one I was going to release today, I guess, is going to get released tomorrow. All right. Because Nolan Wells is not the only case that's mysterious that's going on in Mississippi right now. There also is another one. So stay tuned for that one. So please like and subscribe. Okay. Let me know below what you think, and go to Facebook, Fugitive TV. I'm trying to get the likes up and the follows up over there. I just started it, so please go over there. I'm going to post the original tow audio call on the Facebook too. All right. So go over there if you want to listen to that. That is it for you guys. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in, and please like, subscribe, turn on your notifications. It helps with the channel. It helps with me growing. I am almost at 35,000 subscribers. It's been tremendous. My goal actually was to reach 30,000 subscribers by the end of the summer, and I'm already almost at 35,000. So I'm growing super fast. Thank you guys. Much love over here, and please love one another. Look out for one another, and watch your surroundings. Look out at your surroundings. Until next time, this is Fugitive TV, and I am out.